What's going on, guys? Welcome back to NolanTCG, and we are back here today for the deck profile, and this time it's for Tearlaments. So I was lucky enough to, from my case, pull everything Tearlaments straight off the bat, so we have the deck day one. Splight, I need to pick up one more copy of Splight Elf, so we will probably have that profile next week. If you're excited for that, do hit the subscribe button. Spoilers, we're saying that early, but hit that subscribe button if you are new here, because we're always happy to have new people on the channel. Overall, for Tearlaments at the moment, I've decided to start playing the list that's as Tearlament heavy as possible. It's just funner to experience the new deck in this fashion. I do think that it's the better way to play it is to just play effectively, I guess, a substandard branded list where you cut out stuff like the Frightfoe package. You can replace it with the Tearlaments package instead. It does get you the Kaleido Heart. That does make some stuff get really funny if you open Branded Fusion in the field spell. That's kind of how you resolve those combos. It's still fundamentally the same combo in this version of the deck, but this version of the deck we are playing a much heavier Tearlaments line as to what you would normally play in a deck build like that. Yeah, but let's get into the profile for this one.
Before we do get started on this one, though, it is brought to you, of course, by yourplaymat.com, who got us our beautiful NolanTCG Extra Deck sleeves. These are available on yourplaymat.com, as well as you can get custom sleeves and custom playmats, so whatever you need for the current format. There is an affiliate link in the description down below that does get you a little bit of a discount on your order. Also, enter the code NOLAN10YP for 10% off your order. Also kicks back a little bit to the channel, so everything will be very much appreciated. If you're shopping there, you're getting custom sleeves, custom playmats down. Make sure to enter our code at checkout. But let's get on into this deck profile.
Okay, so starting us off, we of course have our Rhino Heart to start us off. This is probably the best normal summon in the deck. Just gets you effectively most of your combo if you mill, I guess, somewhat well. Then we do have our 3 copies of Tearlaments Scroin. Of course, you get the special summon off this one. Hopefully, the goal of this deck is to mill well, and then you can play well. Often, if you can mill well on your opponent's turn, hopefully you're establishing a window. But yeah, fundamentally what you want to do in this deck is mill the cards you want, and then away you go. This deck will get, of course, a lot better when we get a Shizu, so that is something to keep in mind. We are playing effectively, though, a 3-3-3-3 package of each, which is something you will just standardly play in a Tearlaments list that is heavily focused on Tearlaments. So we have, of course, 3 copies of Havness after that, our extension piece. And then we have our 3 copies of Merrill, just another bit of cute mill effect going on here. Then we get into, I guess, this is where the deck really starts. Tearlaments lists should just be a standard 3-3-3-3 line. So we are starting off the rest of our deck with our Shaddoll package. So we have 1 copy of Squamata and 1 copy of Beast. You don't necessarily need to be using the Shadolls when they're sent. Having them there later is good, because on the opponent's turn you can get those mills off. Trigger the fusion summon on the opponent's turn to summon the Winder. So you want to go Squamata into Beast. Beast gets you the draw, hopefully adds you a little bit more consistency in your engine. If you go Beast and you have the Squamata, just discard it. Then we have, of course, 1 copy of Fallen of Albaz coming through after that. Just the 1 copy of Fallen of Albaz. If you get hit in the hand trap line, like if it gets crowed or something like that, it can cause a few problems, but you're playing Tearlaments mainly, so that's all you really need to be doing. If you, say, go into the one that shuffles them back, now I'm striking a complete blank. If you go into Shuffly Dude, your standard combo, if you go into Lebellion, so if you make Lebellion, it gets hand trapped, you can just shuffle them back off the Tearlaments anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Like, you can Tearlaments shuffle back. Hopefully then you're having a somewhat good time. And then, yeah, we go into our hand traps after that. So that finishes our, main monster package line. Hand traps, of course, change them as to whatever you want for your locals. 3 copies of Ash Blossom and 3 copies of Effect Veiler are just the standard hand traps that we're playing. Then we go into our, I guess we have the Impermanence. We'll do the Impermanence, yeah. It does normally round out the main deck, but our 3 copies of Impermanence are also here for our hand trap line. I just feel as though these are the 3 best to be playing at the moment. Stuff like DD Crow, very good against Splight, very good against this deck, but not good against stuff that we've had coming in from the previous format. And we're still in a relatively diverse meta, unless Splight's taken over completely. But hey, this video is coming out before Splight gets released, technically. So that hasn't happened yet. We're all in theory. Then we get into our spell line. This is effectively most of the deck after this point. So we've got our 3 copies of Branded Fusion. Like I said before, there is pretty stock standard combos you can do in this deck with Branded Fusion and Palermo. So Triple P comes through after that, the PPP. Probably the best way to say this card's name, because saying that whole thing gonna get really confusing. So just triple P, 3 copies of that, adds everything. Hopefully you're going to be getting the resolutions of disruption off the opponent's turn. Yeah, I probably will mention this as well. The text for this is mistranslated for us. Oops, sorry. So when cards shuffle back or being placed on the bottom of the deck, that does count as being shuffled. So this does trigger off your other effects. So your Tearlaments monsters do trigger Perlino. So yeah, consider that. Remember that. That's probably the better way to say that. We do, of course, though, play a 1 copy of Terraforming because we do have the triple P, which is so important. So Terraforming, adding that. 1 copy of Call by the Grave. You don't want to get hand trapped, so play Call by the Grave. It does stop the DD Crow. Yeah, you don't want to get DD Crowed, so there you go. 1 copy of Instant Fusion after that. Remember that Kit Callus is an Instant Fusion target, and a very good one given that it extends you quite a lot. So Instant Fusion, very good card in the deck. We do play 2 copies of Fusion Deployment. Of course, it can add your Rhino. So, yeah, generally sets up your board. Also gets it special summoned, so, yeah. Then we have 3 copies of Prosp after that. There is a bit of flex space in this extra... Sorry, my apologies again. 3 copies of Prosp, yeah. There is a lot of flex space in the extra deck, so, yeah, you're going to be able to just get rid of 3 cards, no questions asked of the Prosperity, and still have a relatively good time. And then rounding out for the main deck, we do have 2 copies of the Tearlaments Traps. We are playing 1 Meta Noise and 1 Sulik. Each of them interrupts your opponents in different ways. Hopefully then from that, you're going to be getting lots of good fusion summons off, and then generally winning the game from there. Of course, we do have the Book of Moon and the Negation. That's it. Okay, and now we do have our extra deck, and rather interestingly, something you will notice with Tearlament lists, you don't really play that many Tearlaments cards in your extra deck because they shuffle themselves back. So we do have our 1 copy of Kaleido Heart, your boss monster effectively for the deck. Kaleido Heart just keeps recurring itself from graveyard, so do keep that in mind. Very, very difficult card to out. So if you can drop this on board, your opponent will have to answer it, and then answer it again. Hopefully that's not enough, and then you just OTK your opponent on the next turn. 2 copies of Kit Callus, that is your general starter, 1 for instant fusion, 1 for general summoning. You can, of course, yeah, put them back like I said, though. 1 copy of Mirror Jade starts off our, I guess, Mirror Jade package in our extra deck. So we have the 1 Albion, 1 Mirror Jade, 1 Libellion. The Albion, it's good, but I guess it's probably better for pushing more damage. Definitely, I would find that a cuttable card, though, unless I'm just playing this deck wrong. I always find that just going the Libellion into the Mirror Jade is the better way to go, especially when you're getting the discards off. They aren't being sent by card effect, but it does fill your graveyard up for future plays. We have the 1 copy of Winder, of course. We want to be windering our opponent on their turn, so very good times. 2 copies of Dragus Tapelia. It is a free negation, essentially. Helps you shuffle all your stuff back. You're using Fusion and a Dark, so of course, you're putting back your resources, and you're getting your other Tearlaments back into your deck. Summoning the Dragus Tapelia gets you negations, like I said before. Good card. You can play this at 3 if you do want to play this at 3. I just settled on 2 to give me a bit more room for other things in the remainder of my extra deck. Next off, we do have our 1 copy of Garura, Wings of the Resonant Life. Yeah, just rather cute card. You do get it as a good Super Poly target for Super Poly in the side. You can also kind of access it from time to time in the main deck. 1 Muddy Mud Dragon, cut and paste that previous text, except this one doesn't net you the draw. That draw is pretty nice off the Garura. 1 copy of Millenniumized Restrict. If you need to go into this off your Instant Fusion instead of your Callus, it is just something you can have as an option. 1 copy of Dark the Dark Charmer. A lot of your stuff is dark. Yes, you do get locked into fusions in most of your lines of play in this deck, but that sometimes doesn't actually come up, and you can steal some rather nice things with the dark. Then we have our 1 copy of Abyss Dweller. You can make rank 4s in this deck. This is the one that I've chosen to go with. And then because we make a rank 4, Zeus can be here to hit the reset button on the game. But that does wrap us up here for the deck profile for this one. So as always, if you do have any recommendations or things you would change, do make sure to comment them down below. Of course, with the new decks like Tearlaments, it's always good to have as many opinions and diversity as like accessible, I guess is the way to put it. So yeah, definitely make sure to comment down below anything that you're going to be doing with your Tearlaments list. And of course, as always, I've been Ben from NolanTCG, and have a good afternoon, everybody.